Good morning, everybody. My name is Jenny Niles. I'm the Deputy Mayor for Education, and I could not be more excited to be here today at Alice Deal Middle School to celebrate with you a big event in our Education Week this week. Momentarily, you'll get to hear both from our mayor and from our new chancellor the next chapter that we're starting for DC Public Schools. The commitment that the mayor has had to educational equity across the city is unparalleled, and we are so excited to have Chancellor Wilson join our education team that joins our Office of the State Superintendent of Education, our public charter schools, our libraries, our Parks and Rec. And so we've got a whole team, and our University of the District of Columbia, whole team of education folks committed to making sure that every one of our students in the city gets a world-class education. And so, it's a pleasure for me to work with this team and for the mayor who's so determined to make sure that education is the harbinger of all of the good things that will continue to come in DC. So I'd like to introduce you introduce the mayor of DC, Muriel Bowser.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Thank you, everybody. And welcome to Alice Deal. I'm very excited to have had the opportunity to meet with the DCPS Teacher of the Year, Jan Schuettpelz, a little bit earlier in her 7th grade science room. Ms. Schuettpelz and her students were incredibly excited that she is being so honored this year by DCPS. We know here that there are teachers are focused on bringing real life experiences into the classroom and starting extracurricular clubs like Girls STEM Science Club and the Mighty Girls Book Club. Ms. Schuettpelz has made so many great contributions to Alice Deal. I want to acknowledge and thank Principal Albrecht, who is here as well, for his leadership of this outstanding school. So I know you will join me in congratulating Ms. Schuettpelz. I am also proud that over the past 2 years, my administration has doubled down on public school investments. We have talked and have visited schools, for example, that have extended year. 11 schools across DCPS are now offering 20 additional days of school. We know that our children have done better when they have had additional time to focus on instruction. And this extended year, we know, is paying big dividends for our students. I'm also very pleased with the progress that our cross-sector collaboration task force is making, that is led by Deputy Mayor Niles. This occasion not only marks our announcement of the Teacher of the Year, but also the first day of school for Antwan Wilson, who is the DCPS Chancellor. Mr. Wilson has devoted 20 years of his life to education, in the classroom as a teacher, as a principal, as a deputy in administration, as a deputy superintendent, and now a school's chancellor with us. Mr. Wilson joins us from the Oakland Unified Schools District, where he developed a strategic plan focused on effective talent development, accountable school site support, and quality school development. In his first year alone, the graduation rate increased by almost 4 percentage points. Only 2 other districts in the state of California saw comparable improvement. So it is with his focus on closing opportunity gaps and achievement gaps for students regardless of their background, and more often than not, students of color or English language learners or our economically underserved students who have been hit hardest by disinvestments in their community. Mr. Wilson understands this, and together with all of the spirited people and smart and innovative people at DCPS and all of the agencies of our government, we will attack these gaps. So it brings me a great pleasure to welcome Antwan, and also to thank for very capable and inspired leadership, Interim Chancellor John Davis. I hope you will join me in thanking John for his great work. And I'd like to introduce Antwan Wilson.
So good morning, and thank you first and foremost to Mayor Bowser. I'm extremely excited to be here today on my first day in DCPS. It feels strange to say that because I've been here so many times over the course of the last month and a half visiting schools, and I'm excited to be here at Allesdale Middle School today. As was shared, we recognize the DCPS Teacher of the Year, Jan Schuettpelz, and it was awesome to see our students so excited to see her recognized and then affirming the decision. And so it's always tremendous because we know that if we're going to reach the outcomes that we have for our students, it's going to take us as a system supporting our teachers, recognizing that the work that they do is essential to the success of the city. And the success of the city is dependent upon, in a large part, the work that we do with our students all the way through school. We want our schools to be places that students love coming to, that they enjoy, that they know that they're going to be met and greeted by people who care about them, who are excited to see them, and who want to teach them. Quite simply, we want to focus on excellence in education and equity, excellence, making sure that our students know that we are preparing them not just to be successful while they're in school, which is extremely important, but we're preparing them for what's going to meet them when they graduate. And we expect them to graduate. And we want our students to know, and I want students to know as Chancellor, that I do expect them to graduate. I expect them to be successful. I expect them to be involved. I expect them to take challenging classes, to support their teammates. I had an opportunity to meet with 3 young men this morning in the Empowering Males of Color program. They told me that they are building a family, that they support each other. And that's what I want to hear. I heard the same thing when I visited Ballou High School, hearing students describing their experience as a brilliant brotherhood. That's what we want in our schools. Visiting Wilson and having an opportunity to meet with students who are in the robotics team. And those students were really excited about the work they had done on the robotics team, but they were even more excited about the work they had done to grow the robotics team, to make it look more like a reflection of their high school. And that's what we want for our students. Visiting Van Ness Elementary School, knowing that I saw those students working on math and science, but more importantly, I saw the environments, a very nurturing, welcome environment that any of us would have loved to be a part of. And so all of that is exciting for me on my first day. And being in DCPS, I know that there's a long history here. I know that there's a history of learning and expectation. I mean, going back to being the place where this nation saw its first public school for African Americans. I mean, to be in a place with that type of history all the way up until now, and we had tremendous leadership of Chancellor Henderson and Chancellor Rhee, and then, as was mentioned, interim Chancellor Davis. I'm excited to work with a talented team of educators within the system, whether that we're talking about the educators who are in our school buildings, who lay it on the line every day to make a difference in the lives of our families. Just visiting with the principal earlier today and seeing him meet and greet students, and I saw that. Every time I had an opportunity to come and visit, I saw students who were able to talk with me about the impact that their principal's making. But, for instance, being over at Banneker High School and hear Principal Berger tell me about every student as they walked in. And that's what I want to hear. I want our principals to be celebrating the students and then to push them and talk about the impact that the teachers are having. So I'm excited to be here. There's a lot of progress. We want to continue the progress. The equity piece, as the mayor spoke about, is making sure that we are doing everything we can to provide each child what he or she needs to get the great education that we know that they deserve. And so that's what this work is about. I'm excited to be here on my first day. I'm looking forward to many more days and visiting every school. I've already been in about 18 schools, and it's my intention to get into all of our schools over the course of next year. And I know we'll do that and have an opportunity to visit with many teachers and parents and students and leaders and to talk about the great things that are happening, but also hear from them on how we can make it even better. And so with that, again, I'd like to say thank you to the mayor, thank you to Deputy Mayor Niles, and I'm extremely excited to join the team.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
All right, we can take a few questions. Deputy Mayor, you want to get the questions?
Sure.
As you, I'm Alejandra Matos with the Post.
Oh, nice to meet you.
This question is more for the mayor and the deputy mayor. We've asked Chancellor Wilson, what his top priority is, and understandably he wants to get in the schools and really talk to folks. But what are you telling Chancellor Wilson that is your top priority as the leaders of the city?
So very clearly, it is about making sure that every single one of our students has a world-class education. And it is that big goal that we need to execute on in every way. It's also the reason that we asked, or the mayor asked Chancellor Wilson to join us, was because of his expertise, because of experience, because of his dedication, and because we need to build on the work that we've been doing. And so we have more momentum than most places in the country, but that unfortunately that doesn't mean that we've actually closed the achievement gap and reached that endpoint. So very clearly, from my point of view, that's the most important thing that we've asked the Chancellor to do.
Let me just add to that, Alejandro. Before I turn to my friend over here, Mr. Wright, another thing, and it's a good thing that we're here today at Alice Deal, because what the Deputy Mayor and the Chancellor and I have already discussed is how we're going to continue our focus on middle schools and improving middle schools across the city so that we have a consistency of offerings, both instructional and extracurricular offerings. And that is going to be a big focus of what we do. I'm very proud that the Deputy Mayor worked very closely with our budget over the last 2 years to ensure that we have made the capital investments to transform the facilities of all of our middle schools in the District of Columbia within this capital improvement program. But that's one part of it. Improving the facilities is one part. The second part is making sure that the instruction is high caliber and consistent across all of our middle schools and middle grades. Yes, sir.
I'm James Wright with the Afro-American Newspapers. This is a question for the mayor, and if the chancellor wants to comment, he may do so. Where are we in terms of this all-girls initiative, which is a response to the empowering males of color?
You want to speak to that, Jenny?
Well, I'm excited to say that we are thinking hard and working on that, and that there could be something fun happening in the future.
Yes, Tom.
Mayor, you mentioned all the middle schools. You're putting capital money into the middle schools. You're talking about will be your focus to improve the education programs in the middle schools. When you ran for mayor 2 years ago and were elected, you said Alice Deal for all 8 wards. By this time next year, where do you think you'll be in that campaign pledge? Will there be Alice Deals in all 8 wards?
Well, let me say what I mean by that. I mean, when you look around this school and you look at the offerings, and the Chancellor and Deputy Mayor can speak a little bit to that in terms of how are all of the children across the city, for example, being taught math? And do they have the same rigorous offering starting in 6th, 7th, and 8th grades? Do all the children have access to art? Do all the children have an opportunity to study abroad? Do all of the children have extracurricular clubs that can enhance their learning as well? And those are the types of things that can happen in the building. The educators, of course, will come up with the programs that they know are most effective, present them, and we'll make sure that they're funded. The second part of that is to make sure that the buildings are transformed. When you look at a building like this that is part of a wonderful campus, that is also important for all of the middle schools and middle grades.
Campaign promise. Obviously, can't do everything, but you'll be able to run for re-election on the changes in the city's middle schools, not the plans for the change.
We have already actually made a significant investment in the middle grades in the first 2 years, in my first 2 budgets. And Deputy Mayor Niles can already talk to you about things that have been done to accomplish that. We reopened one middle school this year, for example, at McFarland, and we are going to improve that building. Jefferson, what is the one I'm missing? And Elliott Hine. So all of those are included in the capital budget. Additionally, we have advanced a proposal for Coolidge for that campus to include middle grades and a high school. So we're really looking beyond where we are in the growth of our system and how to make sure that parents who are starting to think in like 3rd grade what they're going to do for the middle grades, those investments are happening now. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Deborah Allen with Channel 9. And this question is for the Chancellor. I do apologize for pivoting to the Bobcat on your first day. However, children are now allowed out on recess, but the Bobcat's still out there. So what's the decisioning behind that?
Well, I think that suffice to say that when the news broke, and keep in mind I was just coming into the city when I heard about the Bobcat, but I'm excited about the fact that the district did what I would want the district to do, and that is to focus on student safety and to make sure that we had all the information. We were prioritizing that as the information came in, and I will tell you, it's something that I like to say: we want to be smarter today than we were yesterday. That just simply means that as we get more information, we use the current information to make the best decisions possible. They're still prioritizing student safety, being very vigilant and keeping our eyes open, but at the same time, if we can have students out and about, we want to do so. As a student, I would want to be out and about. At the same time, I would appreciate the fact that they were very focused on safety. So I'm excited that that's what we did, and I look forward to the Bobcat being found and returned safely.
Yes, that's two questions.
Yes.
Hold on, please.
Right here?
Yes, ma'am.
Hi, I'm Annie Yu from Channel 5. Congratulations, first of all. Have you been made aware of what's going on at Savoy Elementary with the bed bug infestation / rodent problem there? We just left the school. Lots of parents still concerned about the delay in letting the parents know that this has been a problem since December. Are you aware of what's going on? And if so, what is your reaction? What's being done to fix it?
Well, I am aware, and what I will say is this, that, I look forward to learning more about what happened in the past, but the most important thing right now is that we are prioritizing safety. We certainly are working with the Department of Health and Human Services to make sure that students and their needs are being taken care of, and that we're doing everything we can to make sure that it's a safe learning environment for our students, which is our obligation.
Do you know why there was a disconnect? If we found out in December and the exterminators were out there at that time, why parents weren't, the letter went home on Friday, so why the gap?
I can't speak to what happened in December, but what I can say is that we're going to do everything that we can to prioritize student safety and the safety of everyone on that campus. I think that's extremely important. I understand that that's happening now, and we'll certainly, after the fact, look at how we can learn from this. But the most important piece is that students and families know that that this is important to us as a district and as a city, and we're going to do everything we can to take it seriously.
Chancellor Wilson, John Aaron from WTOP. You put out some pretty lofty goals. Do you consider yourself a reformer, and what sort of changes specifically do you have kind of up your sleeve ready to go here to achieve those goals? Well,
thank you. What I will say is I consider myself an educator who got into education to transform education, to make sure that education works as it's supposed to for all children. Me personally, I'm here only because I got a great public school education. I was put in a position where I was challenged, expected to do my best, and supported. And so I want to make sure that education works for all of our students in much the same way. I wanted to make sure that schools are preparing our students for the world that they're going to live in. We want to make sure that, yes, it has some of the things that we're familiar with, but it's going to put them in a position to be successful. So the mayor hinted at some of the things already. We want to make sure that students are challenged in rigorous courses. Yes, we want to make sure that we are emphasizing STEM-related courses, science, technology, engineering, math. We also want to make sure that students are engaged, that they're actively involved. See, we know that students being engaged in school, whether that's athletics, whether that's music, whether that's speech, debate, robotics, we know that when students are engaged, that they come to school more. We know that they get in trouble less. We know that they perform better academically. And furthermore, when they're taught by people who care and love them, who take the time to teach and emphasize social-emotional learning, which is really about self-management, self-awareness, social awareness, responsible decision-making, all of those things, relationship skills, and I like to add cultural responsiveness. When students are taught in that type of environment, that they are also going to be more likely to succeed. And then finally, when we help our students understand what the end game is. I came to understand the end game late, that, I was in a competition, and I was expected to perform and be prepared to be successful in an ecosystem that involved a lot of other students. And so we want to make sure that when our students are graduating, that we're able to say that they've been prepared, that they have gotten the best of what they could expect, not just here in D.C., but across the country and internationally as well.
Tom?
Thank you, Mayor. Chancellor, tell us what your philosophy will be going forward with the Washington Teachers Union. I know you've reached out to Ms. Davis, the president. And what is your style in terms of being accessible to reporters and media people like me?
Well, thank you. First and foremost, I think our teachers are extremely important. I started out as a teacher. And I will just say that it's important for us to recognize that our teachers are on the front lines every day making a difference in our classrooms. And so I know that not only is it important to me to have a great relationship with our teachers union, it's important to the mayor. It was important to interim Chancellor Davis. All of them talked to me about its importance. So I was excited to be joining a district that understood that it's necessary. I also was excited to be joining a district that has done the work that has happened here. I mean, you think about where our teachers are starting in terms of compensation, amongst the highest compensated teachers in the country. And so I'm excited to be building upon that. And then also when you look into the work that's happened with LEAP, to advancing curriculum, professional development, the cornerstone work, I'm excited to build upon that foundation. I think it's a very solid foundation from which to build. I look forward to partnering with Ms. Davis more as now that I'm here officially, and I'm fortunate that we've been able to meet a few times in the times that I've been able to visit.
And your media relations, what's your style in dealing with reporters?
Well, I'm also very fortunate in that regard as well, because as you know, DCPS has a tremendous communications team. I work with that team. We want to make sure that we're doing everything we can to communicate well, both to the entire city and then also internally as well. So we'll be as accessible as we can be, providing accurate and factual information, but then also doing everything we can to tell people how awesome it is to be a DCPS student, a DCPS parent, and a DCPS teacher and staff member.
Yes, you saw, you were in some classrooms this morning and saw some different teachers teaching math, science, and ELA. What are some concrete examples of things that you, as you're watching, you thought, wow, that's great instruction, and also what needs some improvement?
Well, thank you. Well, the first thing I will say is this. I am inspired by great teachers. So I love being in classrooms because I'm often mesmerized by how teachers captivate students' attention. And I'm looking to see that students are involved, that they're engaged. I mean, at the end of the day, a good classroom is one where students are challenged, where they are put in positions to be successful. I think that great teachers impart upon students that they can be successful. They're expected to be. And some things that I saw today, and just also in some previous visits, I saw some classrooms that were set up for learning. Students not engaged in straight rows. They were oriented towards each other, expected to collaborate and work together, which is what we do as adults. I saw students when I asked them, and I regularly ask this question, so it's just kind of like a foreshadowing, what do you do when you get stuck? And what I want to hear students tell me is that they have to work together to figure it out. They have to solve it. The first move isn't to go to the teacher, but they're encouraged to figure it out themselves. And every classroom I went in this morning told me that. And that's what I want to hear. And then I saw them doing it. I saw them building upon each other's conversations and ideas and respectfully disagreeing. So we have to teach that. That's, again, focusing on social emotional learning. I want to see that in action. And then what I will just say is this, that I can't say what I saw that's bad. I would never do that. But what I will say is that we want to get great at those things. And what I'm interested in when I go into the school is, what are they struggling with? How can I support them and help them, and how we as a system can put them in a position to be successful, and then what they're doing to understand which students are not where they want them to be, and then how they're orienting their support to make sure those students are successful. Because ultimately, when students are succeeding, that means we are succeeding. If they are not, then we are not. And so we want to make sure that our schools are focused that way and recognizing that our teachers are just one important piece, but one piece to a larger ecosystem, all focused on making sure students are successful. That starts with the district, but it also includes the city.
Last question, Sam.
So I don't know, maybe Ms. Niles, but Ms. Schuettpelz, what were the qualities? Why was she Teacher of the Year? And what does a Teacher of the Year get?
When we look to find the Teacher of the Year, we look for teachers that have demonstrated that their students are growing, We've demonstrated that they're colleagues that others look up to, that they have an unquenchable thirst to learn and to grow and to be better. And even this morning, our Teacher of the Year said, I'm not the best teacher. In fact, I'm somebody who wants to keep getting better, and there's room that I have to grow, which actually means that she is one of our best teachers. And so all of those different things. There also is our standing ovation, which I'm really excited about, which is the way that we celebrate our DCPS teachers and principals who have just done extraordinary work. And that's March 13th. And there also is a prize that goes along. And it's a $10,000 prize. I was just making sure I had the right number for the teacher, a $10,000 prize. So it's really special. And it really we are committed to demonstrating that in our society, who is the most important person and people to our kids? Clearly their parents, clearly their family, and then their teachers. And so we have to make sure that we are signaling that throughout everything that we do, and we're trying to orient ourselves so that that message is consistent over and over again, so that our teachers know how valuable they are to us.
Mayor, can we just have one more quick question, a national question about the Trump administration?
No.
It's about the UN.
Let me acknowledge that we've been joined by Board Member for Ward 3, Ruth Wattenberg, for the State Board of Education. So thank you for being here, Ruth.
Does the school administration, do you have any concerns or hope for what she will do, assuming she gets confirmed?
Well, assuming she gets confirmed, we expect to have a collaborative relationship with the Department of Education. We have enjoyed a very good relationship with the Department of Education over the Obama years, and we will be very proactive about how we discuss all of the great things that have already happened here in DCPS, in our DC public charter schools, and how our system is really a model for a lot of districts that are like ours. Thank you.
Okay.